Hello, I'm Mark Hasse, and I am the Chief Engineer for the Center for Threat Informed Defense. Today I'm going to walk you through a demo of Discourse. I'm going to show you how to register and get started, and some tips and tricks that you can use to optimize your experience. You should have already received an email invite from Discourse. Find that email and click the link inside. If you have not received this email, reach out to your point of contact. When we click the link, it will take us to Discourse and prompt us to set up our profile. First of all, it will suggest a username for you to use. However, you can pick another username here if you choose. Next, you can enter your name. We do ask that you use your full name because this will be visible to other users in Discourse, and this is an important part of how we facilitate discussion. And then finally, pick a new password. It needs to be at least 10 characters. First thing you need to do after registering your account is to set up your two-factor authentication. On this screen, click the Add Authenticator button to get started. You may need to enter your password at this point. Then it will show you a QR code and prompt you to complete the process. For this step, you are going to need an app running on your phone. You can use a variety of different apps. If you already have one, you can use that. If you don't, we recommend Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and Duo Mobile. These apps are all available on the major app stores for both Android and iOS, as you can see here. Next, we're going to take a look at what this looks like on your phone. So here I've got the Microsoft Authenticator app, but you could use those other apps I mentioned earlier. We're going to start by tapping Add Account and then tapping Other. This is going to bring up this scanning interface, which I'm just going to point at the Discourse webpage, the barcode on there. And once it picks up that barcode, it will create an entry here showing Center for Threat Informed Defense, the email I signed up with, and that 6-digit PIN number that is going to change every 60 seconds. Back on Discourse, we can complete the process by entering in a name. You can choose any name you want, but it's probably best to name it after the app that you're using. And then you want to enter the code that is currently being displayed in your app. And finally, click Enable. If this works, you should see that token is now listed under your authenticators, and you have now successfully set up two-factor authentication. Now let's walk through how to use your two-factor authentication to log into Discourse. From the login screen, I'm going to click Login. I'm going to enter the email address that I registered with and the password that I just created, and click Login. If I have my email address and password correct, it is then going to prompt me for the two-factor code. So enter that 6-digit number that is being displayed in your app. Now that you have successfully logged into Discourse, let's take a look at the app itself. On the home page here, you can see in the middle a list of categories. Categories are just ways to organize all the posts into related topics. On the right side of the screen, we can see a list of the latest posts, which makes it easy for you to find new topics and jump straight into them. I want to point out that Discourse is highly customizable, and so there are a lot of options here to customize your view, and I encourage you to play around with these and really optimize your experience. Let's take a look at what posts look like by clicking into the Ideas category. Here we can see a number of focus groups and idea proposals that have been posted. You can easily see the TLP marking for these. So these are TLP Amber Seated, which means that disclosure is limited to seated members in good standing. We can see on the right side here overall metrics for these conversations, how many replies, how many views, how much activity. We can also see a thumbnail view of each participant in that conversation, and then we can access that conversation by clicking it. The conversation view offers a lot of options for reading, replying, and engaging with the discussion that's going on Discourse. I'll show you a few quick things here, but again, this really rewards spending some time exploring this and understanding what options are available there. So first of all, the reading interface is pretty simple. You just scroll from top to bottom. You can see there's a lot of rich content, such as attachments and embedded video links. In addition to scrolling up and down, you can also use this slider on the side here, which not only shows you which post you're looking at, but also which day, which is a great way to jump into a specific part of the conversation. And Discourse will remember where you were, so if you leave this thread and come back to it later, it's going to jump you right back to the same part you were at. Now, the posts are all shown in chronological order here, but obviously sometimes you don't reply to the latest message, and so in order to help you figure out how replies are related, there are some additional options here. If we take a look at this quoted text here and we click this little disclosure error, we can see all of the context that Ryu was replying to when he posted this message. And then if I want to go back to see the previous message in this thread, I can click this little up arrow here and it will scroll me right to that message. In addition to the reading features, there are also features for responding to posts with reactions. So I can go to the heart here and I can pick out any reactions that I want. And this is an easy way to show engagement with the post if you don't necessarily have something to put into words. Now earlier we said that when you sign up we want you to use your full name, and I want to explain a little bit more about why we have that requirement and how it improves our community building on Discourse. So if we take a look at each post here, we can see that there's that thumbnail profile photo. It shows that person's full name. This is the name that you specify when you register. It shows their username, and then it shows a title indicating what organization they are with. So my title says CTID staff, but if we look at other members, such as Ryu, we can see, for example, that Ryu works at Fujitsu. And so this is a great way to engage with your peers in the industry and quickly understand who they are and where they work. If you want to know more about someone, you can actually just click right on their profile photo and it will pull up a little card of information about them. So I have customized my card with a photo. I've got a Washington, D.C. cityscape in the background, and I've also put in my role as chief engineer. And anyone can view this and they can understand who I am. They can see when I was most active, where I'm located, etc. This is a great method of community building. So that is a good segue into how to set up our own profile, how to set up our preferences, how to customize our interactions with Discourse. If we go to the top right here, there is a menu, and in here we can scroll down to this little user icon and click into here and then go to preferences. So on this screen, this is where we can customize what other people see about us. We can change our profile picture, we can change our name, we can set a status. And so this is the information that people are going to see about you on your card. I also want to show you a couple really important preferences that you should set up regarding how Discourse notifies you when there's new activity. So if we go over here to emails, this controls when Discourse sends you emails. I find this really helpful because I don't have to stay signed into Discourse all the time or keep constantly switching over to my browser to see if Discourse is doing anything. Instead, I can have this set up to just email me when something interesting happens. And there's two different things you can do here. One is send a direct email in response to an event, such as when someone sends a message to me, or if they mention @Marcasi in a message, it will send me a message. The other option down here, and this is really helpful, is activity summary. And so you can tell Discourse, I want to receive a summary of all the activity that I missed when I haven't been logged in. And you can choose how often you want this to happen, hourly, daily, weekly, whatever works best for you. Now, the next screen I want to show you is called notifications. And this is a little bit confusing because we were just talking about getting notified by email. This is a little bit different. This is notifications in your browser. So if you have Discourse open in a tab, you can let it get your attention when there's new activity. And so in order to enable this, you're going to have to come in here and click this enable button. The browser will ask you if you want to make sure that Discourse is allowed to do this. So we'll click allow, and now it is turned on. And we can then tell Discourse what sorts of things do we want to receive notifications for. This default setting is pretty good. Anytime I post something and someone else likes it, it's going to send me a little notification in the browser. The preference that I want to show you is the tracking preference, and this topic is a little bit complicated, so let me show you another example first, and then we'll come back to this. If I go look at a specific post, for example, this focus group post, underneath it I can see this menu here, and this lets me specify what kind of notifications I want to receive for this topic. There's a range of levels here ranging from most notifications to none at all. And so the top level is watching. This means every time somebody replies, I will get a notification for that. Tracking means that I'll get one notification even if there are several replies in a row. Normal means that I will only be notified if someone mentions my name, for example, @Marcasi, or replies to something that I had written. And then finally, muted means that I won't receive any notifications for this topic no matter what. And so you can go topic by topic and decide what level of notification you want, but obviously that can be pretty tedious. And so that's what this screen lets you do, is it lets you decide what is your default notification level. And so we can do things like, maybe I really care a lot about ideas and I want to be notified anytime there's any activity in ideas. And so I'm going to watch the ideas category. But then maybe for news and for general, I don't really want so much noise in my notifications. I really only want to be notified if someone mentions me or replies to one of my posts. And so that's what this screen lets you do, is really dial in what volume of notifications you want and what topics you want them for. The final thing we need to cover is how you post onto Discourse. So the first thing you should do is find an appropriate category. I will add a post into the news category. Next, you're going to click the new topic button. You can enter in a title for your post. You need to select a TLP marking from the tag list. So I will just mark this as TLP clear, meaning it can be redistributed with the public, and then enter in your post body. The post body has some rich text formatting options that you can access up above, and you can view the formatting output on the right side here. This works live as you type. It's also easy to drag in documents that you want to attach. They will upload and become part of your post. As with all the features in Discourse, there are a lot of options here to customize this. So you can insert block quotes, for example, or bullet lists. It also has emojis. It has special dates and times. So I encourage you to explore this and understand the capabilities of the platform. When you're ready, you're just going to hit Create Topic and it will go out live on the site. So far, we've talked about categories in Discourse that are visible to all users. But if the organization you work for is a member of a project that is currently in execution, you will also have access to special categories for those projects. These categories are private, as indicated by the lock icon, and only available to the organizations that have joined that project. And within these project-specific categories, you will see that all the posts have this special TLP marking showing that it is only for members of that project. As I've alluded to several times throughout the course of this demo, Discourse has a lot of features, way more than what we can cover in such a short time. If you really want to learn more, I encourage you to go check out the Discourse New User Guide. This walks you through all of the concepts and features that are essential to getting the most out of Discourse with illustrations and step-by-step instructions, and it's a really valuable resource. This concludes our demonstration. If you have questions or concerns, please reach out to your point of contact. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on Discourse.